Hi, I'm Midge Shoemaker, and today is day 81 of my doing 100 days of YouTube videos and focusing on doing at least 2 things every day I don't want to do, but I know would be good for me. So yay for day 81, and yay for only having 19 days to go. Okay, so I don't know what to do with today. I do not like getting emotional, and I do not like crying, and today is one of those days where I just need to cry. So I apologize if I'm really teary-eyed in this video. If you don't want to see me cry, please don't watch the rest of this video because I can't guarantee that I won't cry. But I am trying to remember that God wants me to be happy and that He has a plan for me, and there's a reason for everything in life. And today is one of those days that just, I don't know, it just feels like I'm getting thrown a curveball, you know? Like hoping I can figure things out. I have an upcoming medical procedure I need to do to try to figure out what's going on with my stomach, and I kind of figured that what they told me is that they would bill the insurance and then they would send me a bill for what the insurance doesn't pay. But I do recall vaguely today that they said they would call me about a week before the procedure and let me know what I was going to have to pay for the facility to have the procedure done in. And so, of course, they left a voicemail because my phone has to be off at work. So I got to listen to a voicemail, and of course I did it on my lunch break, which is bad timing because then I didn't want to go back to work for the afternoon. And of course I had to go back to work for the afternoon, and I couldn't cry at my desk in the afternoon. I had to stay busy. So I'm very grateful that it was a very busy afternoon. So lots of paperwork, lots of distractions, lots of things to keep me busy and let the time just go by really quickly. So very grateful for that. And anyway, so that's so I got the voicemail message from the procedure today, and it turns out they want over $900 for the facility, use of the facility for my procedure, and it's due at the time of the procedure next week, and I don't have that kind of money. So, and this is, of course, you know, insurance has approved the procedure at this point, but because I have such a high deductible and I haven't met my deductible yet, the insurance isn't going to pay for it. So I have to pay for it until I have met my deductible, and I will probably not meet my deductible, which makes me wonder why on earth I have insurance. But I felt like God wanted me to get insurance. Like there's a reason I need to have insurance right now, and I don't know what that reason is. But I'm just doing the math in my head, and I'm like, by the time I'm done with this procedure and the doctor's visit afterwards, assuming I can even come up with the money for it, beg, borrow, whatever money for it, or not pay other bills so that I can pay for this procedure, which is never a good idea to not pay bills, but or make all of my payments super late because I'll be like a month behind on everything, because that's the only other way I can think to pay my pay for this procedure right now off the top of my head, is to just not pay for anything else and be like, oh yeah, I'm a month or two behind because I'm trying to play catch up because I can't afford to pay these bills. So just kind of freaking out a lot about that and just not really sure how to deal with it, to be perfectly honest. And so just trying to face it for once in my life, because my initial response is always to just shut down. And I feel like my brain kind of did try to shut down this afternoon, and thankfully I was still at work, so I couldn't just shut down. And this afternoon after work, I've just been playing the avoidance game. So my brain does that where it's like, if I don't want to deal with something, I will do something else to distract myself from doing it. So I came home and I'm doing dishes and I'm trying to clean up my house and I'm making videos to avoid, but then I make videos and I have to face all of what's going on. And I started saying prayers, and God is like, you have to face this, you have to deal with this. So I sent a message to someone at church to see if maybe they can help. I sent a message to my parents and was like, I don't know what to do. This is nuts. It's like I can just not pay my bills and have the procedure, or I cannot have the procedure and just continue to be in pain and feel nauseous and sick to my stomach all the time. And I'm not liking either one of those options right now. So I could try to call my attorney to see if there's a settlement, but if there's not a settlement, I'm not going to tell them to rush the settlement or take something that you know is undervalued for me, because that's not going to help my situation at all. So I'm going to wait for my attorney. I'm going to call him and see where it's at, because I know I deserve to get a lot more money than that, and I don't want him to settle just because I have an upcoming procedure I need to get done, because what if I need more money in the future? And as much as I'd love to say I can get money from my book, I know I won't get any money from my book until at least October, which is over 2 months away. And then I don't even know how much money I will get. And a lot of that will just be a reimbursement for any books that I sell, assuming that I can have any money or will have any money to actually buy books to sell at the bookstore. Because again, I don't know how I'm going to do that when I have to spend all this money, which none of this is helping me mentally, and none of this is helping me emotionally or physically. And I'm sure physically my body is just responding to the stress of everything. I'm just like, doing the math in my head. In the last 2 months, I've probably spent close to $800 or over $800. Plus I have bills for medical procedures and things that I have done that I haven't got yet, but that I know are coming. So I don't know how much I'm going to owe, but I'm like, there's more bills that haven't been paid for this. And then there's just more that are coming, because after the procedure, then I have to pay for the doctor visit to find out what the results are, and to find out what the next steps are, and what the next procedure is going to be, if there's going to be one, etc., etc. So I am not looking forward to all of this right now, and wishing that I had the money somehow. I would love to be in a financial situation where I could just pay for what I needed. And I don't need to have a whole lot of extra, but it would be nice to have that little cushion, and it would be nice to be able, like, okay, I have to pay this, I can pay this, I have to pay that, I can pay that. I would love to have just like my deductible amount for my insurance just sitting in the bank. So I'm like, okay, I can just take the money just for this. This is designated just for this medical procedure stuff, and I can pay it. And then once I hit that, assuming I ever hit it, then the insurance should pay for everything else, and I'm home free. I can just start putting the money back in there. But I don't have that. I'm still sort of like basically living paycheck to paycheck, and wondering how I'm going to pay my bills, and grateful for all the bonuses and the overtime and everything that I've been able to get. So it's allowed me to pay my bills. Grateful that I get that extra paycheck every 6 months, because it kind of helps me to stay on top of being able to pay my bills, and flipping like which paycheck I pay bills off of. So I kind of sort of skip a payment without really skipping a payment. It's just changing which paycheck I pay it out of, because of when I have the money and when the bills are due. So I've been super grateful and super blessed for all of that. And I know that God has taken care of me every step of the way in my life. And with my finances, even though I've never really had a lot of excess, and sadly when I have a lot of excess, I just don't pay attention to my finances, and I just spend money because I have it. So I need to learn to not do that. Not that I've ever had a ton of money, but I've been in a situation a few times where I just didn't have a ton of debt. And so I had that extra like $200 or $300 a month that I could spend. Or like when I was married, for the short time I was married, it was a 2-income home, and we could live off of 1 income. And so the other income, I honestly don't know where all that money went. I swear my ex spent most of it. But it was nice to know I didn't have to worry about it, and I could just go to the store and spend some money, and we had it. But I would say 90% of the time he's the one that spent all of it. But I took the kids out to eat all the time, and I didn't pay attention to how much that cost, because I'm like, we had the money, it's no big deal. And then when I got divorced, I suddenly didn't have the money, and then I ended up getting in debt again, which was a bad idea, but that's what I do when I get depressed. And even today, I'm in this awkward situation where I want to eat junk food. I want to emotionally gorge something that's not good for me. But at the same time, on the flip side, I should be grateful, because eating anything like that just makes my stomach feel worse. And it already feels worse. It already doesn't like food in the first place. And I can't figure out what it does and doesn't like to eat at this point. But I'm definitely staying away from anything that I know upsets my stomach on a regular basis. Like anything that has dairy in it, I'm not eating that as much as I want to, because I know that already upsets my stomach, and there's no point in making a bad situation worse. So I am grateful for that, because it will keep me away from things that I should not be having, because I don't need to make my stomach worse than it already is. And I did, however, get a little emotional eating at work, because they do have Twizzlers at work, and Twizzlers don't have dairy in them. They do have a bunch of sugar and red dye and other artificial flavoring that I probably shouldn't be eating. But I was like, that's my emotional food for today. A handful of Twizzlers, not very good, but and of course, I didn't really want to make a video and get all emotional and crazy. And I'm sure not all of you want to hear about what's going on with me and my crazy medical stuff, but I still don't know what it is. I don't know what the problem is. I don't know what the issue is. And my brain can come up with 10 or 15 different possibilities as to what it could be. maybe not that many. That's a huge exaggeration. It's probably more like 4 or 5 things that it could be, but I don't actually have knowledge of which one of those it is. And for all of my Google research and everything else, I still don't know what it is. And none of the results that I've gotten back have said anything. They've all come back normal. So hence this upcoming procedure that I'm going to have, because that's the next step to try to figure out what's causing my problems. So I want to have the procedure. I just have no means of paying for it. So I was like, well, I'm either just not going to pay my bills, which I've been in that situation before and been behind, and I don't particularly like it, but I can do that if I have to, or I can get help from family and friends, or I can postpone the procedure and postpone my doctor's appointments until I feel comfortable having, like, I have that money for those procedures. And I really, at this point, I don't know what the best option is. But if I postpone the procedure, then I just postpone knowing what's wrong with me and dragging out being not feeling good. So I really don't want to postpone it if I don't have to, because I really just want to feel better. And I am grateful to God for reminding me that I can be happy and that I can feel better, and also for reminding me that I don't have to let all of this financial stuff and all of this physical stuff interfere with my ability to make my videos, or to work on my books, or to do things that make me feel good about myself, or to recognize that I still have a connection with God, and that God is still there, and He understands what I'm going through, and He knows what is ahead. And because He knows what's ahead, He can guide me through all of this, and it will all be okay. I just, once again, I like to know, and my brain spins off in all kinds of directions that it should not be going. So yeah. And then, of course, I came home instead of going to my parents' house, which is where I'm supposed to be, letting the dog out. So don't really want to go over there tonight. I want to stay home. I want to be in my own bed with my own things, and just because I want to wallow in my own little self-pity because of what's going on in my life right now. And I know it's not horrible things going on in my life. It's just things. This is what my brain does. I just automatically overreact, and it shuts down, and I feel overwhelmed by everything, and it just feels like the end of the world, and my life is just crashing down around me because I have some unexpected expense that I don't know how I'm going to pay for. And so for me, it's a completely different response to reach out and ask for help, to make a video, to share what's going on in my life, to accept that I'm upset and this is hard for me, and to recognize that this is probably just a huge overreaction. And for some people this is a huge deal, it's a big huge thing, and for some people it isn't. But I know that anytime something like this happens in my life, that's how my brain automatically reacts. I just get overly emotional, and I freak out, and I shut down, and I feel overwhelmed, and I just want to curl up in a ball and disappear, or just hope that whatever the problems will just go away all by themselves, because if I ignore them, they'll just go away. They never do. They often get bigger or worse, but that is what I like to do. So that is not what I get to do. I get to try to look into other things. I get to try to see if I can get a hold of my car company before next week and see if there's any way that I could possibly skip a car payment without getting some kind of penalty. That would be fantastic, because that would at least get me some money. Not a lot of money. By the way, my car payment's not, that would be like a third of what I owe. A third of what they want I could get from not making a car payment. The rest of it I could get by not paying my rent, but I don't think my landlord would appreciate it if I don't pay my rent. So those are the two bills I know that if I skip and I pay everything else, I will be okay. But I don't want to lose my car, and I don't want to lose my place to live. So those aren't good bills to just skip, and that becomes an issue. So not really an issue I want to deal with. But again, I've got a week to figure it out, and at least I am trying to face it today, which I don't like to do, don't want to deal with any of it. And I am going back to mom and dad's because that's where my things are for the night, and because I gotta let the dog in the house and all of that fun stuff. So anyway, yeah. And my dad would be mad at me if he knew I was mentioning that I was house sitting, because not that anybody knows who he is or where he lives or anything else like that. Plus, his house isn't going to be empty. It's going to be mine that's empty. And, well, it's not really, because my landlord lives on the other side, but my half of the house will be empty. But again, I figure most people that are watching these videos, they know me and they're not going to do anything, or they don't know me and they have no idea where I live, so they can't do anything either. So that makes it nice. Either way, I'm not really concerned about it. So, and their house won't be empty because I will be there. So yeah, probably stuff not to put in a video. I'll have to try to remind myself of that in the future. But I don't like to edit things out, and I don't like to have to think of everything and write things down ahead of time, which I know my sister said would be better for my videos. So you get all of me and my crazy ramblings and my emotional drama today that I just don't want to deal with, and I'm trying to deal with it by making a video, or at least facing it, because I figure if you share the problem, I've heard that in Al-Anon so many times, my 12-step program, that if you share the problem with someone else, then it's not as big as it seems inside my own head, and it becomes something that becomes manageable, something that I can do, versus something that's just overwhelming and impossible, and something that I feel buried under like an avalanche, and I just can't move and I can't function. So I am grateful to be trying to share this and to be able to move and not feel like I'm totally shut down. Can't promise I'm not going to go to my parents' house and shut down, because I probably will after this, but at least I got this far. At least I got through my afternoon at work without breaking down. At least I was able to get some dishes done in my house, just to vent and get some of the emotion out, and I get to make my video. So all things I didn't really plan on doing today. Some of them I did, but I kind of figured I wasn't going to. Like, I was going to come home and do dishes. I'm like, nah, I'm probably not going to do that, but I did anyway. And making a video, because I haven't been very consistent with making them, so I did anyway. And staying at work and dealing with everything without telling everybody at work what's going on with my life and my finances. So I did that too. So yay, I survived another day, and I am grateful for that, and grateful for the reminder that God is there and He knows what's going to happen, and I know that He's going to take care of this, so I don't need to worry about it. I'm probably still going to worry about it in spite of knowing all that, but I can make a video and I can start out crying and I can end up laughing. So that is a gift from God, and I'm very grateful to be able to see that, because I chose to do a video today that I didn't really want to do. So thank you for watching this video. Hope that it wasn't too crazy. And if you like these videos, you can hit like, subscribe, share with someone else if you think they'll like it too. And I hope you have a great day full of gratitude, and maybe find 1 or 2 things to do today that you don't want to do, but you know it'd be good for you.